The directions say graph by plotting points. So we have a line here, and we need to draw the line, and we're going to be picking some points to draw the line, right? But how do we find the points? They don't tell us anything else. They don't tell us what to plug in. So it's really up to you of what you want to plug in. So we're going to start with a t-table, x and y, and it's your choice. You pick some values for x, plug them in, you'll get values for y. You could also pick some values for y, plug them in, and get values for x. So I'm going to plug in some values for x. I'll plug in a 0, then I'll see what I get for y. Maybe I'll plug in a 1, and then I'll see what I get for y. And then maybe I'll plug in a 5. Right? I could pick anything I want. And if I get something that doesn't work out nicely, I could just erase it, pick another number. So let's try these numbers. Let's plug in a 0 for x. I have x plus y equals 2. I'm plugging in a 0. 0 plus y equals 2, and that means y equals 2. Okay, so that one was easy. It's oftentimes pretty easy to plug in a 0. Let's plug in a 1. So x plus y equals 2. I plug in a 1. 1 plus y equals 2. Now to get this y by itself, I need to get rid of this 1. Okay, it's 1 plus y equals 2. So I do need to subtract 1 from both sides. And now y equals 2 minus 1 is 1. So if x is 1, y is 1. Okay, that's another ordered pair. Now let's plug in a 5 for x. So x plus y equals 2. I'm going to plug in a 5 for x. So I have 5 plus y equals 2. And in order to get the y by itself, I subtract 5 from both sides of the equal sign. And I'm going to find out that y equals 2 minus 5 is negative 3. So here are 3 ordered pairs that I can use to graph the line. I always pick 3 because if you only pick 2 and one of them's wrong, you'll never know. But if you pick 3 and one of them's wrong, you'll definitely know because they won't make a straight line. So let's plug in the first point. Let's plot the first point. 0, 2 means 0 in the x direction, 2 in the y direction. There it is. 1, 1 is right there. And then 5, negative 3. 5 to the right, 3 down. It's going to be right there. All right, and they should make a straight line. And they do. And when you draw your line, make sure you draw it all the way through the graph, all the way up to the top, all the way down to the bottom. Don't just connect a few little dots and leave it like that. Now, what would have happened if I didn't pick values for x? Could I have picked values for y? Of course you could have. I'm going to go ahead and pick some values for y, and let's see. Let's say instead of picking values for x, let's say I picked values for y. Let's say I picked a 0 for y and a 1 for y. Okay, well, let's plug it in. Let's see. So x plus y equals 2. So x plus y equals 2. If I plug in a 0 for y, x plus 0 equals 2. Anything plus 0 is itself, so x equals 2. So now we have 2, use a different color, 2, 0. And then let's plug in a 1 for y. X plus y equals 2. I'm going to plug in a 1. So x plus 1 equals 2. I want to get my x by itself. I want to get rid of that plus 1. So subtract 1 from both sides. And you're going to find out that x equals 2 minus 1 is 1. So if y is 1, x is also 1. And guess what? We already knew that, didn't we? Right? Look right here. 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so we already knew that. And let's make sure that these 2 points are on the line. 2, 0, and 1, 1. Yep, there it is. Right on the line. 2, 0. So it doesn't matter whether you pick points for x or for y. You pick one part of that ordered pair and you plug it in, and you are going to get back out the other part.